everybody, it's RAC from FigureReviews.com. This week, I'm looking at Fall of Cybertron Soundblaster with Buzzsaw. First things first, sadly, the packaging never uses the name New Soundwave. Even so, the reference to being rebuilt on another planet after being salvaged by his minions is a pretty clear Headmaster shout-out. Like 2010's Cybertronian Soundwave and the Soundwave in this Voyager assortment, Soundblaster adheres to the War for Cybertron design. While it lacks the distinctive dull squareness of G1 Soundwave, that's not exactly a bad thing. Soundblaster is big, even compared to some other Voyagers. He looks like an absolute monster next to this year's deluxes. Which means this figure makes a little more sense to get than Soundwave, since he's supposed to have been rebuilt into a frontline fighter. And hey, you finally got a figure in scale with Cybertronian Bumblebee. But even better, he's big and solid, and feeling much more like a 2010 Voyager than a current figure. The 2010 feeling extends to articulation. Soundblaster has a limited neck, but otherwise has at least decent range at all points, though this is achieved with cheaty hinges in the upper arm to accommodate for the odd shoulder shape. Among the highlights are the ability to kneel and some excellent arm articulation that, coupled with a sculpted index finger, allows him to reach his own eject button. Speaking of which, Soundblaster has an eject button. His torso is a big hollow tube that allows him to hold several minions. Disc minions. The backplate acts as a plunger, and it gets pretty far out from the figure when he's fully loaded. Buzzsaw, the included disc, has a tendency to get stuck unless he's angled just so. It has its quirks, but the disc feature is fun, and you could ignore it entirely and you'd still have a satisfying figure. Transformation is very much like the Deluxe, though of course the plunger changes things a little bit. None of it is complicated enough to be vexing, and not unduly simple for its size either. But make sure you angle the windshield properly. It's meant to tab into the space above it. The result is a decent looking, you could even say toothsome, communications truck. It has what looks like a seat on top that's probably just a lever for the plunger instead, but I want to get Rumble and test that. But the plunger is good to have because Soundblaster can still eject discs in vehicle mode. Where Soundwave includes Laserbeak, Soundblaster gets G1 Soundwave's pack-in Buzzsaw, who is represented here as a golden disc. Yes. It auto-transforms when it hits the ground or when you press on it, and it makes about as good a disc-shaped Condor as the G1 mold did a cassette-shaped Condor. I wish he had feet, and painted optics would help. But it's decent, and it fits in Soundblaster's chest with some fiddling. Soundblaster also has his shoulder cannon, even though the G1 Optimus Prime rifle seen on the package didn't cost out. Soundblaster would still be the best Voyager I've gotten this year if he didn't have Buzzsaw, who is touchy but doesn't bring the whole package down. This figure feels out of place among the other 2012 Transformers in a very good way, and though it may be foolish, I'm hoping this means 2013 is off to a good start. I don't know that it's worth owning both Soundwave and Soundblaster, but you should definitely get one. He's easily excellent on the FigureReviews.com non-numeric rating scale, and you can read the full text review with extensive photos at tformers.com now.